Hotedition on 3FM 92.7. It is coming to you live from our studio here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra. My name is Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Coming up this evening, brace up to pay more for sachet water as National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers announced new pricing regime from the 6th of April 2026, and that's just next week Monday, so you'd want to stay tuned for details. Also coming up, lawyers for the NPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman Antwi Boasiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, says they will file a fresh application at the Court of Appeal to stay proceedings after the High Court dismissed an earlier attempt. And later in the bulletin, Burkina Faso lifts tomato export ban, much to the relief of Ghanaians. But tonight a bigger question emerges. For how long will Ghana continue to depend on Burkina Faso tomatoes? Answers in a jiffy. We are live around the world on 3news.com. We are also streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, where your messages are always welcome. Before that though, here are the other big stories making rounds in Ghana in the news summaries.
One person has been injured after a Hyundai Rhino truck collided with a faulty stationary vehicle at Bibiani of the Western North region. The incident occurred on the Bibiani-Guaso highway when a Hyundai Rhino truck with registration number AS563226 crashed into a broken down Daewoo Ultra Novus truck with registration number AC294-24, which had been parked by the roadside. Ghana Football Association's president, Ket Okreku, has revealed that the race to become the next head coach of the Black Stars has attracted massive global interest, with over 600 applications submitted for the role. Speaking after the dismissal of Otuado, he disclosed that the overwhelming number of the applications reflects the stature and appeal of the Ghana national team on the international stage. Now, the family of the late gospel icon Yao Sapong has announced details of his final funeral rites following his passing at the age of 63. According to the family, the funeral activities will commence with a wakekeeping on Friday. This will be followed by a lying in state on Saturday, May 9th, where the burial service and final funeral rites will also be held. Now, wherever you are in Ghana here today, the Ghana Meteorological Agency, GMET, has warned of thunderstorms and rainfall across parts of southern Ghana following the movement of a rainstorm system from the Gulf of Guinea. In an update referencing its afternoon forecast, the agency said a moderate rainstorm located offshore between Benin and Togo has already triggered rain-bearing clouds over the southeastern parts of the country. So wherever you are, take note of this and be guided. We got all this on our website, 3news.com. I am Christabel, Success Treve. Martin, over to you.
Thank you very much, Christabel. Now let's settle for the details of our stories we have for you this evening. We're starting from this very important commodity, which is water that we all drink on a daily basis. I'm sure some of you listening to us right now may be holding a sachet in your hand and sipping on it. Well, the news is that households and small businesses are to brace themselves up for an increase in the cost of sachet water. This follows a decision by the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers to raise prices, citing the rising production cost linked to global supply disruptions. The new pricing regime takes effect from the 6th of April 2026, which is next week Monday. According to the association, the increase is driven by a sharp rise in the cost of key raw materials, particularly polymers used in packaging. It says the situation has been worsened by the ongoing conflict in Iran, which has disrupted supply chain and pushed up international prices. Under the revised structure, the ex-factory price of a bag of 30 sachets of 500 ml water is now 8 cedis, with the extract price going for 10 cedis. The maximum retail price is expected to be capped at 15 cedis per bag. The development is expected to have a direct impact on households and small businesses, as sachet water remains the most widely consumed source of drinking water in many parts of the country. We have been speaking to Kwame Japong in Treve, who is the National Director of Corporate Affairs for the NASPA, which is the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water producers, and he's been expressing reasons why they have taken this line of action, which is that sachet water prices are going up from the 6th of April next week, Monday.
In that, there's factory price means when you drive or you walk to any of the factories and you want to buy a bag of 30 sachets, you pay 8 cedis for one bag. If we put it in the truck and send it to your outfit or your home or wherever, you pay 10 cedis. But depending on where the store is or where we send it to you, some people are selling in kiosks, some are selling in ordinary shops, some are selling in supermarkets, some are selling in malls. Depending on where the person is selling it, the person's overhead may be higher. So if the person is selling in a kiosk, the overhead may not be as high as the person selling in a mall, where the rent and everything, the labor that the person will be incurring will be far higher. So the person may add, say, 1 cedi and sell it at, say, 11 cedis. Some may sell it, say, 12 cedis. So that may explain why we've given an upper limit of up to 15 cedis.
That's X factor.
We are not saying that the water that anybody is selling should be sold at 15. That's not what we are saying. What we are saying is that the figures we have given, 8 and 10, I'm trying to explain that depending on where the shop is, the person can sell it for, say, 11 or, say, around, say, 12. While we are giving an upper limit of 15, it's that, for example, the war in the Middle East, nobody knows when it's coming to an end. But if the war were to come to an end even today, I listened to BBC, they were telling us that if the war were to come to an end today, and they gave an instance in Kuwait and United Arab Emirates, some of their facilities that have been bombed, it will take 4 years before they come to their normal production levels. 4 years. So we are likely to have the effect for a very long time. That is what BBC was reporting. So in taking things into consideration, we will have to live with some of the effects for a very long time. So we are saying that it is most likely that the effect might stay with us for a very long time. So in considering this, we should have an upper limit that in case that things go that long, we don't hope that we will go beyond 15. So in the unlikely effect that it goes that long, we don't hope to go beyond 15. That's why we are setting a recommended price of 15 cedis. We are not saying everybody should go and be selling. If somebody is selling a 10 and you say you want to sell a 15, your business will collapse because nobody will buy it. The fact that we are saying 15 doesn't mean that when you go sell a 14, then everybody will jump to sell the 14. People are rational. Right. People are reasonable. So if you are selling it for 10, another person sells for 11, and you are all within the same space, the 11 will end up not selling. So we are hoping that if even in the event that the war stays on for a long time and you want to place it, you can migrate up to about 15. That is what we are saying.
Okay.
We are not saying sell 15. If you want to sell 15 and sell, your business will collapse.
Okay.
Right. So that's the voice of the director, the National Director of Corporate Affairs for the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers, in the person of Kwame Ejapong Intra, speaking earlier to Johnny Hughes. Clearly, the question now is, what do you make of this justification for the increase in prices of sachet water, which is taking effect from Monday, the 6th of April, 2026? Well, we have also put out some questions on our social media pages and would want you to share your thoughts with us. On Facebook, just look for 3FM 92.7. On YouTube, same. Look for 3FM 92.7. The bulletin is streaming. Your messages are always welcome. From a policy standpoint, how justified are these reasons that have been given for the increase? They say the price of polymer has gone up because the supply chain has been disrupted by the ongoing developments in the Middle East. And because of that, and the polymer is the very raw material they use for the rubber. And then it cascades into a question of Ghana is a rubber producing country? Is it that we are unable to produce a particular type of rubber they need for this business? That's another question. Very similar to what's happening about the tomato conversation, where we have had to now show appreciation to Burkina Faso for reversing or suspending their decision to ban the export of tomatoes from Burkina Faso. But this one is water, and because of the Middle East disruptions, we are told that sachet water is likely to go up. A bag of it will now cost you about 15 Ghana cedis. Not the single one that you drink, but when you buy the full bag, which I think is 30 sachets, you are likely, it has moved from 8 cedis to 10 cedis at the track now, and is going for 15 cedis. So it means that the retailers are going to be paying more, and then individual purchasers like yourself and I would also have to pay more for water, which is one of the most consumed items on a daily basis across the country. So your thoughts on it are very welcome on our social media pages. We'll be happy to share it with the rest of the world. This is 3FM 92.7. Stay with us. We have many more stories for you, including the fact that it is not only water that is going up, or the price of sachet water that is going up, but fuel prices are likely to go up effective very, very soon. Details of that and more in a moment. Do stay with us. Welcome back to 3FM 92.7. We are going on to some other stories now. In the wake of increased fuel prices attributed to the US and Israel war against Iran, some drivers are calling for a hike in transport fares. For drivers at the Circle New Plant Station in Accra, they are unable to break even because of the myriad of operational costs. Grace Hamoajiman has been engaging some of these drivers and has come through with the following report.
The National Petroleum Authority, NPA, has set a new minimum price floor for petroleum products for April 1, 2026 pricing window. Under the revised price floor, petrol has increased from 11 cedis 57 pesos to 13 cedis 30 pesos per litre, representing an increase of about 1 cedi 73 pesos. Diesel, on the other hand, recorded the biggest hike, rising from 14 cedis 35 pesos a litre to 17 cedis 10 pesos. This spike indicates that over the last 2 weeks, the price floor has gone up by 2 cedis 75 pesos. For some drivers, this is taking a toll on their pockets.
In fact, yeah, brepa. Obaya juma pon udi skani na beto fuel. Ka first ni ke free akokumase. Ka otimi to fuel.
Buying fuel has become a struggle. Previously, one could buy 30 liters and it would take you to Kumasi. Now, 40 liters wouldn't even take you half the journey.
5 liters. They say huna pa
me to 6 million and shooty into fuel and the slab buying say
I bought fuel worth 600 cedis, but I did not see any improvement in the fuel gauge. The government should intervene because we are really suffering.
Transport fare increments are not only hinged on fuel price increases.
Spare parts prices remain elevated, especially for Voxy and Saloon cars. Even though it is claimed that prices have reduced, it is rather excavator parts that have seen some reduction.
The Deputy Director of Communications at the JPRTU, Stephen Amwa, says the union is yet to decide on whether to increase fares. Passengers who will most likely be affected are calling for government intervention.
It's not a good feeling, but I'm sure the government has a good reason for doing that. We all know what's going on around the world. So I really hope the government would put a good measures in place. As with the passengers, personally, I'm willing to compromise with the government, but he shouldn't disappoint us going further forward.
War that is now ongoing, the US and Iran war, that has brought this increment. So it's not something that was planned. So we all need to engage and, comport ourselves. We know that they would maybe definitely increase it, but then it shouldn't be as high as maybe it will bring some economic distress to people.
So you heard that report put together by Grace Hamwa Ajiman, and the thoughts of some passengers and transport owners ending the report, clearly expressing similar sentiments about the fact that international affairs actually do affect us domestically. So the pressure is now gradually mounting on government to intervene. But to what extent can government intervene in such circumstances? Your thoughts are always welcome, as this bulletin is live on 3FM 92.7, our website, and then also on Facebook and on YouTube. Still on transport issues, though, the minister in charge of the sector has announced ongoing engagements with various transport unions to reach a mutual beneficial outcome following rising fuel prices. This comes on the back of threats by the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, and other commercial transport operators to increase fares by at least 20% if government fails to scrap certain taxes on petroleum products within 48 hours. Let's listen to the Transport Minister, Joseph Bukari-Nikpe, reacting to the development.
On behalf of the government, say a big thank you to all the transport unions. I am sure a lot of Ghanaians will be waiting to hear from them. Over 3 weeks today, myself, I've been engaging them. Myself and the finance minister will be engaging them, and we are all in a state of engagement. We will soon come out with our final decisions to the general public. I wouldn't want to make anything known to the public that is not yet finalized with my transport unions. And we work together, and I must thank them for their cooperation so far. And I believe that at the end of the day, we'll come out with a win-win situation for us and then the transport unions and all the drivers that we have. Either through this situation that we find ourselves in, you realize that all the fuel prices were going downwards. But what is happening in Iran from America and Israel is creating these issues for us. But the unions are cooperating, we are working together, and we will come out soon with our final decisions.
Joseph Bukari-Nikpe is the minister in charge of transport there, giving an update on the possibility of government intervention when it comes to transport fares, because he says that the ministry has been engaging the transport unions or the commercial transport operators to at least come to a consensus as regards whether or not there should be an increase in fares, and by how much or by what percentage. Trust your news source here at 3FM to update you when we get other perspectives or angles to this very developing story. Let's go to the courts now. And lawyers for the New Patriotic Party's Ashanti Regional Chairman, Antwi Boasiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, say that they will file a fresh application at the Court of Appeal to stay proceedings after the High Court dismissed an earlier attempt. The move follows a ruling by the High Court during Chairman Wontumi's directing Chairman Wontumi, I should say, to open his defense after the prosecution closed its case and the court held that he has a case to answer. Chairman Wontumi and his company, Akonta Mining, are facing 6 counts, including allegations of allowing individuals to undertake mining activities on the company's Samre Boy concession without approval from the lands minister. They are also accused of facilitating unlicensed mining operations. Both the chairman and the company have pleaded not guilty to all the charges. For more, let's now speak to Lord Edu Asare, who is our court correspondent, joining us in studio for a quick chat on this. Lord, thank you for your time. To start with, Walk us through what happened in court today and the basis for the judge's decision.
Very much, and thank you. So basically, in court today, we're expecting that lawyers for Chairman Wontumi will move the motion to stay proceedings. Now, you recall that at the last adjourned date, after prosecution closed the case, Wontumi's lawyers filed a submission of no case, which was then dismissed by the High Court, essentially telling him that he has a number of days, roughly about 2 weeks, to decide whether he will challenge it or he will defend himself. So after the court's decision, his lawyers filed an appeal against the High Court's decision, essentially indicating that the decision was unfair, and so they escalated the matter to the Court of Appeal. Now, the matter being in the Court of Appeal, they filed another application to have the case at the High Court be put on hold, pending the hearing and determination of the appeal at the Court of Appeal. So today, the lawyers came to argue the motion to stay the proceedings or halt the case at the Court of Appeal, pending the hearing and determination, and that application was dismissed by the court presided over by Justice Audrey Kokuvite. Now, these were the grounds that Wontumi's lawyers made the arguments regarding the motion to stay proceedings. Now, one of the grounds was that they appealed the substantial chance of success. According to them, the appeal, which is being heard, it has a higher chance of success, and as a result of that, the case at the High Court should be put on hold until they finish hearing that matter. Another ground was that the continuation of the case at the High Court will render the appeal at the Court of Appeal negatory. Again, they indicated that the constitutional rights of Wontumi, who is the applicant, are at stake. Fourthly, the balance of convenience favors them for the end of stay. And then lastly, the administrator of justice for the accused person, which is Wontumi, and then Akonta Mining. Now, the prosecution led by the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Remsai, they opposed that stay of proceedings but did not file any affidavits in opposition. They urged the court to just rely on the opposition initially. Now, after listening to the arguments from both sides of the divide, the judge then dismissed and indicating that the application was without merit. Now, Martin, what this means is that with the Court of Appeal waiting to hear and determine the case at the Court of Appeal, it will still be ongoing at the High Court. And so the court essentially gave Wontumi 14 days to file his witness statements, meaning that now he's going to defend himself. So he has to file the names of the witnesses that he's going to rely on, who will come and speak for him, their addresses, and all that. And so the case has been adjourned to April 20. But before that, we spoke to the lawyer for Wontumi, Andy Apia-Kubi. He's the lead counsel, and he wasn't pleased with that decision. And so let's listen to him. It was some sort of, I don't know whether it was a banter or jab between yourself and the Deputy Attorney General. What was all that about? And is there some sourness between yourself and the
We were responding to some innuendos coming from the Attorney General's department. And trust me, I'm not somebody to be intimidated or to be cowed. No, it's not possible. So I responded in the same language to him. He takes that to heart. We at the bar must show respect to each other. And indeed, no matter, the Attorney General is the biggest lawyer in Ghana. And of course, we must also address the bar and the bench with that understanding that the Attorney General decides to be vulgar in language. He needs to be warned, and that's not so. We are all ladies, but it cannot be a case of somebody arrogating to himself any exceptional powers in the court. The court is a public place. We are all officers of the court, therefore we need to conduct ourselves well. And that is the understanding that I got him to do. That notwithstanding the position that we hold as an Attorney General, we are also Minister of Justice. In all cases, I always warn him that you are not on a freelance. You are also responsible for fair judgment and fair trials and judicious processes. So you have to be careful. He has a any case, that is a public office that you hold. So if you hold a public office, you need to uphold certain standards as we have known the office to be. So there was a response in the morning that we have to be careful.
Are we expecting him to file a repeat stay before the next agenda date?
I just told you that
before that,
tilt towards filing a repeat application for stay in the Court of Appeal. We'll go to office and request it, but as you know, tomorrow is a holiday up to next Monday or so. So after the holidays, we'll probably file the repeat of the application for stay of proceedings, and then we'll go to the Court of Appeal to argue out the case and see the most careful.
Right, so that is Andy Apiakubi, who is lawyer for Chairman Wontumi. And so, Lord, tell us exactly what he was responding to.
Right, so during proceedings, they got to a point where it appeared to be some sort of banter between the Deputy Attorney General and then Andy Apiakubi. Now, when Andy Apiakubi was making his argument for why the stay of proceedings should be upheld, the Deputy Attorney General sought to indicate that he misunderstood the points of law that he was expecting the court to rely on. And so there was a lot of back and forth in that regard, and they used certain words against each other. So it brought some level of sourness in the courtroom, and so I sought to get a bit of clarity on that. But quite apart from that, he indicated that the fact that the case had been dismissed in the High Court does not bring finality to that matter. They indicated that they are going to escalate the matter to the Court of Appeal, and so they're going to file another stay of proceedings, which they call the repeat stay of proceedings. And so it will mean that they will have two cases at the Court of Appeal to be heard. One is the stay of proceedings, and then once the Court of Appeal determines the stay of proceedings, and then they will also hear and determine their appeal against the High Court decision, which essentially dismissed their submission of no case and ordered Wontumi to open his defense in the matter, Martin.
Right, and you say now the case has been adjourned to
April 20, but Wontumi has 2 weeks, so by 14th he should have filed his witness statements and every other document he needs to rely on.
All right, thank you very much. Lord Eduasare is our court correspondent, updating us on today's deliberations, which largely was about Chairman Wontumi, whom the court has asked to now formally open his defense as to why the allegations being leveled against him should not stand or cannot stick, because he's been slapped with 6 counts, which include the fact that he has mined in a concession without authorization. He has also mined in a forest reserve, which is against the law, and also not having permits to undertake these mining activities. So a lot is happening regarding this, and like our court correspondent indicated, would wait to see what the next few days will hold for Andy Apiakubi, who is lawyer for Chairman Wontumi and his Akunta Mining Company. This is 3FM 92.7. You're listening to Hotedition. Stay with us. When we return from this quick break, we'll be taking you to the offices of the Transport Minister, who has also been updating Ghanaians on why now there are new charges when you use the Kotoka International Airport. Do stay.
Accra, it's time! Celebrate Easter with Kitia and enjoy 25% off store-wide and up to 50% off selected items from April 1. Visit Kitia at Sprintish Road or follow at Kitia Ghana on Instagram.
92.7 is the station. This is 3FM, and you're listening to Hotedition. My name is Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Let's go on to some other stories we have for you this evening. The Ministry of Transport has justified the introduction of the Airport Infrastructure Development Charge, describing it as a strategic move to generate revenue, to mobilize Ghana's airports and position the country as a leading aviation hub in Africa. The minister has been addressing journalists where he indicated that proceeds from the levy will be used to improve the sewage system at the airport, construct a hotel facility, and expand parking capacity. Let's listen to the minister now.
And all over the sub-region, our airports are in very deplorable states. Let me tell you that from 2012, Ghana Airport Company did not make any comprehensive levies or charges to upgrade our airports. Our sewage treatment plant is 25 years old, almost full to the capacity. If we do not do something about that sewage treatment plant, one day we will see a reversal of whatever waste we put inside. And as a country that wants to be the hub to aviation, we need to address it. Every day when you pass at the airport peak hours, sometimes I go there to help in the management of traffic. Our car park is too small to the point that the cars overflow to the streets and create a lot of traffic congestion. We need a new car park in the airport. Other airports, you have short stay, assuming you have a connecting flight that will take you 3-4 hours and you needed some rest. There should be some hotel facilities. So the car park will come with the hotel facilities attached to it so that it will create some comfort for our travelers. Now, the biggest one is the connecting concourse between Terminal 2 and Terminal 3. We all agree that Terminal 2 lies idle and not being used. So Excellency the President said, look, we have to be innovative and then get that Terminal 2 functional. So we agreed and started to rehabilitate, to remodel Terminal 2 to be able to serve both international and domestic. Now passengers, if they are going to travel international, meaning that they have to get out either from Terminal 3, out of the airport and come in, or they have to use bus to carry or convey passengers to the Terminal 2, which doesn't fit in the design. So we are building a connecting concourse that will have other facilities like lounges and all those things to serve our passengers, so that when you are within Terminal 3 and connecting to any other country, you just walk through the connecting concourse to Terminal 2 and you are able to access the airline you want to travel with.
And that is the Transport Minister, Joseph Bukari Nikpe there. Let's take our attention to one of our headline stories we have for you this evening, having to do with developments in Burkina Faso and its impact on tomato consumption in Ghana. Burkina Faso has lifted the ban on the export of fresh tomatoes to Ghana. The move is expected to ease supply shortage and stabilize prices on the local market. The West African country had earlier halted the issuance of special export authorizations for tomatoes in March as part of efforts by the military-led government of Captain Ibrahim Traore to boost its local agro-processing sector, particularly tomato paste production. The decision disrupted supplies to Ghana, triggering concerns among traders and consumers. However, Ghana's Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry says the ban has now been lifted following high-level diplomatic engagements between the two countries. In a statement, the ministry described the development as a major boost to supply and market stability. It also explained that the decision also follows improvements in tomato supply to processing factories in Burkina Faso, as well as commitments by stakeholders to prioritize domestic industrial needs. The ministry assured of continued collaboration with Burkina Faso to maintain a smooth and mutually beneficial trading relationship. Government also reiterated its commitment to strengthening local tomato production through initiatives such as the Feed the Industry and Feed Ghana, alongside investment in irrigation, large-scale farming, and support for processors. Let's listen to We've been speaking to the Association of Tomato Transporters and Traders, and these are some of the reactions they've given regarding the decision by Burkina Faso to suspend the ban on export of tomatoes to Ghana?
Oh, Yeniaji, but Yeni Jen NCP. Ye person penyon for no mama ya ye sorry jina na so because we no obi ko be no 50 pre ko pese say ya na wo show bibi a kire say bibi betimi asi enti o mai bibi kakra bi a kire ye no e say ye nso eja ye penyon for wo mo hwe na next time no ye be kwa akofa bi kura ye nso ye obi wa ha ye be kwa akofa kura en no so because ye de ye hutu o mu so bebre a me hu no say be boa ye enti ya de ye sra ban no say yes sra no one kasa wa bia ma ye nti dam na wo se wo beye no ame ado bi wo ye kurom na no wo jai omomode na wonye ma ye na ye nya hokọ efi se kura ye hu na ma ne ye se sika bebre ne ya kogu obi ma so ye ba ne aboka sika me ka ye kurom ho a eye ebetimi aye mpuntu dwuma ma ye ya ye man no ye tim
ada ensuo kase wo ho a ye dam na ye so beboa ye borga ye dam na ye so beboa ye eni se na ba bi fa konkwan na sa aba ne ye bia na ha ma bi ye enti ye sere ne so aboa ma ye bie ye kwan na ma ye so na firi ye so a ye da na se na emu omumu ayen ma ya sante ya so ye ntumi ne.
Yeah, the thoughts of some tomato traders regarding the decision by the Burkinabe authorities to suspend the ban on export of tomatoes to Ghana. And you recall that in the early days when this news came out, it was quite unsettling, especially for the traders. And they say that now that government has been able to negotiate at the very top for the Burkinabes to change their mind or at least suspend the export ban now, then it is a step in the right direction. Let's now speak to Nana Ejenim Boating, a leading member of the Association of Tomato Transporters and Traders Association. And then also we have Anthony Morrison, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Agribusiness Ghana. I'll start with, gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Hi, sir. Back.
Great.
Oh, my brother.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good to hear from you. So I'll start with you, Nana Ejenim Boating. What are your thoughts on this decision by Burkina Faso to, at least for the interim or for the meantime, suspend the earlier directive that no fresh tomatoes was leaving Burkina Faso, not even to Ghana?
Many times. But that's keep on saying Burkina is right.
Hello, Nana. I think the connection to Nana Ejenim Boating isn't too clear, so we'll try and reconnect. See, hopefully we get a better connection to Nana Ejenim Boating. In the meantime, let me speak to you, at least to get the perspective of what you think policy should be. Mr. Morrison, thank you for your time again. I'm sure the first question will also be your thoughts, your reaction to the suspension.
Well, thank you very much. The chamber has taken serious view of the new situation, in that it kind of destroys the confidence we have to invest into the public. So at the end of the day, as a country, we need to be very clear on how we want to establish our international relationship with regards to our sovereignty, as a country. There is a need for us, especially in view of this current news, there is a need for us as a country to establish a national agriculture and food foreign policy which guides us and provides a framework within which we deal with or we engage with our trade partners, especially with regards to key commodities and essential items like we are talking about tomatoes. A country that stands up and unilaterally decides to impose certain ban without recourse to or no respect to their neighbors' sovereignty we should also be in a position to hold our own. The chamber is particularly also worried of the fact that as a country, we are losing $1.7 billion annually, as in $500 million plus in employment generating opportunities, and $1.2 billion in both fresh and canned tomatoes importation. We are particularly worried again of the fact that if the government allows this to go on, there will be no trust in the government program, especially the 24-hour economy, where you are talking about private sector investment while you are not supporting producers. How would those who set up the factories and industries, where would they get their raw materials from? If we cannot support farmers to produce raw materials to be able to feed the industries. And again, we're talking about accelerated export development strategy of the president. And we think that this welcome news, so quote, by the government, is unwelcome by the private sector and also by the farmers in the country. It is something that we think, look, it's only for the next 1.5 months that we will have to make do with high cost of tomatoes. However, we have put structures in place. Everything is working now as we speak. And people have put in investment for the past 2 weeks on the ground.
And is it that they were trying to take advantage of the window to quickly try and set up so that they can, supply the, at least close the supply gap that was created as a result of the suspension?
Exactly.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. Let me now bring in Mr. Jenim Boateng. Hopefully, that will be an interesting position to start off from. Mr. Jenim Boateng, so I actually wanted your initial reaction to the suspension, the lifting of the suspension by Burkina Faso. But while at that, talk to me about this position that has just been shared, that a number of people, capable Ghanaian farmers, immediately wanted to to fill in the gap. Is that something you are confident that Ghanaians can do?
Many times, but I want to know those farmers that I don't know whether the government has assisted them or not. I said it and I repeat. Tomato farming, you cannot do it without irrigation or water assistance, being water pumps or whatever. This is a nation that we have everything better than Burkina Faso. And it's so disheartening that we keep on relying on Burkina Faso for tomato. Not that we don't have the farmers. So is the government ready to assist the farmers? Is the government ready, or is any dam ongoing for construction? Or is it because we depend on the mercy of the weather? We are about entry into the rainy season. So we are hoping that our farmers can plant more tomato for us to have it. No, it has continued, but I have not heard from the Minister of Agriculture or the presidency in charge of the agribusiness. I haven't heard from them. So what are we doing? It's a time for Ghana, for us to depend on Burkina Faso for a fruit called tomato. If we would depend on Burkina Faso, high savannah area, it should be something like cattle, goats, and sheep. The Sokoto red goat, not tomato, that we can equally plant. Thank God we have Crop Research Institute that they can assist us to get the same seedling that they are planting in Burkina Faso. We must instruct a proper agriculture bank in the country. As I'm talking to you now, we don't have any assistance to the farmers, as Burkina Faso is doing. And one amazing thing is very soon Ghanaians will be traveling to Burkina Faso to import this apatre tilapia, because they are not using this for just tomato alone. Onions and garden eggs
Right.
Aside that, they are using the dam for like a pond, fish pond, in addition. So you can get a big tilapia in Burkina Faso to buy. Like
Right. But, Mr. Jelimbane, so I mean, like, I appreciate the position you're sharing with us regarding the kind of intervention needed if Ghana is to become tomato sufficient in terms of production. Since this ban was announced by Burkina Faso, have there been consultations either amongst yourselves with government, and if yes, what kind of outcomes are we looking at? What timelines are we working with?
Well, as of now, the government has not meeting any of us. And I don't know the kind of contingency plan. You know, in every government, we got some contingency budget. So, like by this time, our East region, we are having about one dam construction. When you come to Ashanti, one dam, Eastern or Ada, one dam. Even there is a research that said that the Ada, you cannot dig too deep because it's close to the sea. But you can do some irrigation. Then you can extract from the water lake to assist the farmers. So the government must wake up. This is a wake-up call. I'm pleading to my big brother, John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, that the agri sector, he has done well on the economy. But when it comes to the agri sector, in fact, it's giving him 2 minus. He should wake up. Especially the consumption of tomato in Ghana as at now, all is coming from Burkina Faso. And I feel so disheartening and shame that Burkina can threaten us not to come there to purchase a tomato. Then we will go and beg them, please, and turn it for us.
Okay. Thank you.
Where is our independence?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for those passionate sentiments you share with us, and we hope that we'll engage you some more in the coming days, hopefully on a good note where we would have made some positive strides regarding this tomato importation ban. We've been speaking to Nana Jenim Boateng, leading member of the Association of Tomato Transporters and Traders Association of Ghana. But the baseline is that Ghana is capable. In fact, Ghana has a lot more in terms of what we can do. We have better lands. We just need to have the right irrigation systems in place. We have committed farmers dedicated to producing these items. The market women who go to buy these tomatoes are asking that let's support our own. They can do it. The traders, the transporters are also making a similar call. Policy advocates are pushing in the same direction. So maybe the final push must be coming from government. That is why the reaction to the minister's decision to go to Burkina Faso to rearrange or at least to suspend the ban of the export of tomatoes that has not sat well with a number of people. In the coming days, we'll update you on any new development associated with this. This is 3FM 92.7. We'll be bringing you the latest in the world of business right after this.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the business segment on Hotedition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also coming up tonight, Bank of Ghana rejects claims of 2 billion cedis price stabilization fund as it urges public to disregard viral publication. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. The Bank of Ghana has dismissed as false reports circulating online that it is planning to establish a 2 billion cedis price stabilization fund. The central bank is therefore urging the public to treat the claims with caution and disregard them. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details. The central bank has described as fake reports circulating online claiming the bank is set to establish a 2 billion cedis price stabilization fund. In a response to the publication, the bank categorically denied the claims, stating that no such policy has been announced or is under consideration. The central bank emphasized that the information is false and should be disregarded by the public. It further noted that all official communications regarding policy decisions are disseminated through its verified and authorized channels. The bank warned that the spread of misinformation could mislead the public and create unnecessary uncertainty within the financial sector. It is therefore urging the public and stakeholders to verify all information before sharing or relying on it. The Bank of Ghana also reaffirmed its commitment to transparency, accuracy, and maintaining public confidence in the country's financial system. And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on the Bank of Ghana denying claims of 2 billion cedis price stabilization fund online report. Before we go, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, intensified its nationwide enforcement drive on April 1, 2026, targeting major commercial hubs in East Legon, Spintex, and Tema to plug critical revenue leakages. The exercise, which focused on VAT compliance, resulted in several businesses being cited for various infractions and 2 establishments being sealed off.
The Ghana Revenue Authority enforcement team, led by the Assistant Commissioner in charge of the Accra Area Enforcement, Joseph Annan, began the day's operation in East Legon. Sole Restaurant was cited for issuing computer-generated invoices without the required special dispensation from the Ghana Revenue Authority. The establishment was also flagged for failing to remit VAT payment and for under-declaration of revenue. Janelle Space was found to be charging customers VAT despite not being registered with the authority, a direct violation of tax laws. The operation moved to the Spintex Road Industrial and Commercial Belt, where Resen Industry Limited was caught in the selective issuance of VAT invoices.
And that brings us to the end of the business segment on Hotedition on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Ausa. Sports news is next with Andrew Asian. Please stay.
Here on Hotedition on 3FM 92.7. My name is Andrew Sefa Bamfo. Let's start off from the Ghana Football Association because President Ket Okreku has been speaking exclusively to 3 Sports following the dismissal of Black Stars head coach Otoado. Ket has defended the decision to keep Otoado in charge despite Ghana's failure to qualify for the 2025 African Cup of Nations. He revealed that both the GFA and EXCO were aligned in their belief that dismissing the coach was absolutely uncalled for.
I believe that I had to let the coach go at that time, and we never believed as an EXCO that we had to let the coach go at that time, and we stay with that position. We've all done football at various levels, and sometimes there are auxiliary reasons why certain decisions has to be taken or not to be taken. Some of these reasons are not available to a lot of people, and therefore it's very normal when people share their opinions about which direction we have to go. But I look back and I'm happy that we took that decision. At the end, we qualified for the Mondial with the same gaffer, and I don't regret at all.
And so that was GFA President Keto Kweku speaking about the dismissal of Otoado. Still on the Black Stars, former defender Asiedu-Dartey has expressed confidence in the team, saying that none of Ghana's opponents at the 2026 World Cup will take the four-time AFCON champions lightly. Speaking after a disappointing international window to 3 sports, during which Ghana lost to Austria and Germany, he noted that Ghana's opponents will be wary of the Black Stars' threat.
You'll be worried also because you know there are players missing, and this player, they know the players, they have quality. That's why I don't think that the coaches of these teams are looking only about these 2 games, you know. They are watching a lot of games, because especially the players, they know who they play in England and everywhere. So I think none of these coaches are underrating Ghana.
And so that was former Black Stars international Asiedu-Dartey speaking, bringing an end to the sports segment here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, and then bringing an end to Hot Edition here. Enjoy your holidays. My name is Andrew Sefa Bamfo.